Hello and welcome to the April Ross Show. I thank you all for joining us tonight. And tonight we have Jermiria Darden. How are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am great. First of all, I want to thank you for just coming in and sharing your story. Such a personal journey.
Thank
That
you.
you've gone through. Over the weekend, we had a great time. The April Ross Show, we were on location at the One Leg at a Time fashion show. Oh my gosh, you all can go to my Facebook page, and I'm telling you, it was a wonderful event, a great turnout. Natanya Lowe, she did an outstanding job, and I'm telling you, kudos to that young lady. She's a real boss, okay? She put that show together with her team, and it looked really nice, and I'm telling you, make sure that you support her and anything that she does. It was a great show. This coming weekend, we'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be going to the Stellar Awards. The April Ross Show is going to be on the red carpet. Thank you, Jesus. We'll be there. So just keep praying for us. Keep us in your prayers. And hopefully we'll bring you all some great interviews back. And we'll be having a wonderful time. So we're just going to get started with, first we see the after. We start with the after, okay? But let's go back and tell us, how did this journey begin for you? First of all, tell us, if you don't mind, well, you don't mind, because you shared a lot.
I've been very open and candid about this journey and everything. I am 238 pounds. I've lost 112 pounds over the last 13 and a half months.
Really? So what was the most that you weighed?
At the heaviest, I was 350 pounds.
And what was that for you?
Wow. For me to be at the time in my late 20s, carrying that weight started to become really painful for me. I had, throughout my 27, 28, 29, I had dealt with osteoarthritis, and the weight started to hurt. It hurt to carry that much weight on my body, and all that. It got to the point where it would just hurt to live, and it hurt to live because it's like I'm young, and it's like I have so much life ahead of me, but I'm halfway to 400 pounds and close to inheriting any type of diabetes, heart disease, and everything. So I had to get to a point where I had to, like, what am I doing to myself? And like I had to get to a point where I had to decide to do something for me. I had to finally stop stalling and do something for me for my health.
For your health. Now tell us, in a day's time, as you were 350 pounds, what was a meal like for you?
Wow. Wow, I love fast food.
Okay.
Big fast food eater. Breakfast, I love the McDonald's sausage burritos. I used to have like 4 of those.
In one setting.
4 of those in one setting.
When I read that, I'm going to interview this guy. I mean, because you were so candid about this journey that you have been through, and for you to put what you actually ate on there, that was like shocking to me.
Yeah.
When you were ordered that, though, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, this is what I love. Did not care how many times a week I ate this, and it's like, this is what I want for breakfast. I'm going to get it, and I had no concern about the ramifications that would come later on with the health of consistently eating this amount of food. I was literally paying a day's worth of calories for breakfast.
And then what would lunch be like for you?
Lunch, any type of combo, usually a double Whopper with cheese with like extra mayo, and the biggest combo they had at Burger King. Just I would eat that.
And then come back behind it and have dinner as well.
Come back behind it and have dinner. If I'm working second shift at the time, I used to, sometimes if I didn't have time to go anywhere to get something for lunch, I would order from Domino's. I would either eat a whole stuffed cheesy bread or like split up a half a pizza with somebody else.
Really?
Yes.
And then you never, after you ate all that food, you would never say, I shouldn't have done that.
Never had any regrets, never had any doubts. I just stuck to my face.
Really? And then at what point, where was the breaking point? What do you remember going back to that night or at that period of time? What was the breaking point?
I would say my breaking point where I really had to do a lot of soul searching in regards to my health and what I was doing to myself Came about around late October, November 2012. I was going through a rough period of time, going through a lot of things in my personal life, and I was actually going down a downward spiral. It was pretty scary. I kind of went into binge where I was ate a lot, and I'm naturally an emotional eater, so I spent most of my life doing this. And for people like us that are emotional eaters, food is it's an addiction. It's a drug. It's what helps us get through all the problems, all the stress. Like most other people depend on alcohol and drugs and everything, and that's cool, you know. But for me, food was it. That's what kept me going. That's what kept me comforted. And for somebody who's hidden behind a smile a lot and everything, you know, food kept me from breaking out into between just going as far as with people and dealing with my personal problems and everything. And once I had a few family members going through health issues during that time, period of time, and I was reaching at my breaking point, what am I doing to myself? I was like, I'm 29. I'm not. If I continue to go at the rate that I was going, I'm not going to live to 30. And I was like,
scary for
it was scary for me. And the thing is, earlier that year, I had a few little health instances earlier that year too that one would have thought that would have been a breaking point for me, and that wasn't. But it took later on that year for me to just kind of sit down and think about things and start praying. And it's like I need to make this change for myself. I've stalled on it too long. I've got to do something for myself. This is not to impress some guy that I like. This is not about impressing a group of friends. This is about my health. It's like I want to be able to live. I want to one day maybe have a family, have kids, and have enough energy to play with those kids one day.
And you want to live for that. Now, tell us about this night right here.
This was a group of pictures that I took the night before my surgery. I had made a vow to myself that I was going to be as candid as possible about my weight loss journey. I felt like this was predestined by God for me to be as open as possible so that it can inspire people. I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this platform to inspire somebody else to jumpstart something for their health, a weight loss journey for them. So I decided, like, you know what? I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm going to take these pictures. I'm going to show off my fat rolls. I'm going to proudly show off my fat rolls, my thunder thighs, everything. I'm going to show them off to the world and not care who laughs at it, who has to hate it. And I never really knew the ramifications of people just commenting on that picture alone. I had at least 400 likes on that picture, and this was the night before my surgery. I was like, wow.
I know. When I saw it, I was like, oh my. I mean, you know, because I've never seen somebody be just so open. Okay, yeah, they may tell their story, but you really just put it out there. And this was the night before your surgery. Were you scared?
There were so many emotions going through me that night. I was excited, I was anxious, I was nervous, I was a little scared, but I was like, I know this. When you make a life-changing decision like that, you have to be confident in it. You have to stand by it. And that's what I tell anybody out there that's considering bariatric surgery: stand behind your decision. This is something that's going to change your life. Trust me. The day you have your surgery, that's when you start your new life. Your new life begins just like you're reborn. And I was beyond all the nerves and the excitement and everything. I was like, I knew this was right for me. I knew this was right.
So tell us about why not just diet?
Like I said, I have been struggling with my weight for most of my life, ever since I was a kid. I have tried anything and everything from Jenny Craig to Weight Watchers to trying to be more active and go to the gym. I've popped pills. You name it, I've done it. And it would work for a little bit. You know, I would yo-yo here and there, and it would work for a little while, and I would get into this little routine and start doing this and that to kind of help me lose the weight. But I would let something that happened in my life kind of tear all of that down, and I would go back to what I was doing. It was like a cycle. It's a cycle for people like us that are emotional eaters. We We go through things, we diet, it yo-yos, and then when something happens, we go back into that same cycle. And it was not healthy. I was like, I can't continue to do this to myself. It's like, this is 20 years of doing this.
Yeah. So you decided to have the surgery. Now, when the doctors came to you, when you went to the doctor and they explained it to you, were you just, I'm going to do this, or were you kind of hesitant?
I had been hesitant about surgery over the years. I used to be one of those people that thought, oh, weight loss surgery is an easy way out. This is like an overnight thing. It's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I realize now how ignorant I was then to say that. It is not an easy way out. It is a tool to help you get you from point A to point B.
I like that. I like that.
And that's what helped me when I started to come to the point where I realized that it is truly a tool to get to where you need to go in your health. I let all the other thoughts that I used to have about weight loss surgery just get out of the way. When I finally made the decision I wanted to do the surgery, I went to my primary doctor, Dr. Felicia Jones. She's been my doctor since I was 17.
Wow.
So she literally, when I walked into the room, and she walked into the room and we talked about this, and I talked to her about my sleep, we were literally in tears. Because she has watched me grow from like, high school, and she's seen me at my heaviest and at my worst, and we've gone through so many steps over the years to get my health in this situation. When I told her I finally wanted to go forth with this decision, she helped me to get to the seminar in LaGrange for West Georgia for Dr. West Turton, and I had to go to that seminar the following month, and he went over as far as the 3 types of surgeries, the lap band, the gastric sleeve, and the gastric bypass. And after that night, I had solidified my decision in what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the gastric sleeve.
And so what made you decide, based upon what drove you to say, I'm going to do that, besides the others?
I had done my personal research ahead of time, but during that seminar when he did a very thorough explanation over the 3 types of surgeries, and I took my notes and I read over everything, and after reading and comparing notes and comparing the 3 different types of surgeries, gastric sleeve fits very well for me. It's very similar to the gastric bypass. Pretty much same similar results you can get from the gastric bypass. The only main difference is there is no bypassing of the organs. Everything is still going intact. There's no bypassing of the small intestines or the colon or anything like that. Everything is still connected, and everything's good from there. They remove 70 to 80% of your stomach, and removing that hormone, removing the part of the stomach that has that hormone called ghrelin that triggers your appetite and makes you get all those hunger pains. So it's like if you're at midnight and craving a midnight snack, that's what you're dealing with.
That's what you're dealing with right there. Okay. Now tell us, so after the night after you had it, what was the process like for you? Your first meal.
Wow.
What was that like?
Let's just say after the first few hours after surgery, when I woke up and I'm in my hospital room at West Georgia, I was in so much pain. I was in a lot of pain. It was the first 24 hours was really tough because I had a lot of nausea and I was having a hard time. The only thing I could have during those first 12 to 24 hours was ice chips. I had a cup of ice chips to keep nausea down, and I had IVs going through me, pain pills and everything. And Dr. Turton had me walking in the hallway after the first few hours of my surgery. So what made that experience so much better, my mom was with me every step of the way throughout the surgery before and then. And what we did as a routine to kind of get me going and get me active, I had my mom on one arm, I had the nurse that was assigned to me on my other arm, and we were walking down the hallway, taking it step by step, it's like baby steps, and we were singing Walking in the Light.
Oh, really?
We were singing Walking in the Light throughout, and every time we did that, and every time I got up out of bed and started walking, I would get further and further down the hall till by the time it was almost, I think it was like my last day at the hospital, I got to the end of the hall and back with no problem.
Wow. So you were determined.
I was very determined.
So how did you go from eating 4 burritos to what What's the size of this meal now that you can
Wow. It was definitely a gradual process after the surgery. First few weeks I was on basically liquid. I was on broth.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much broth, any type of hot tea, decaf coffee. I had to be on a very low sugar, low fat, clear broth liquids the first few weeks, and then progressed to pureed food. Basically, my mom had this idea. I think it was like predestined. She'll tell you she had me on baby food.
Oh, really?
During that time, which was good because I had the Gerber's baby food and everything, and it pretty much has the same vitamins and nutrients as the real fruits and everything. So we dealt with that. Those first few weeks after the surgery was tough, and I'll tell you this. Um, it was around Easter time when I was dealing with recuperating the first few weeks. Lo and behold, my dad brings home some Merle's catfish.
Oh, Lord have mercy, not the Merle.
Yes, the Merle's catfish. And so I'm sitting there, I'm recuperating, and the smell just starts to trigger. Now, physically, I'm like, okay, I've passed this. I know I got, but mentally, your mind has to catch up with everything. I was so upset.
I'll say yes. You were crying.
I cried. I yelled. I got a little angry. I was a little angry. But
that's not the catfish.
I did not come to the temptation. I did not eat the fried catfish. But that was what I had to. I knew that was what I had to go through.
That was like it had slapped you in the face.
It had slapped me in the face.
That I've got to have this willpower.
Yeah, it takes a lot of strength and a lot of willpower to go through the progression after the surgery. Once the surgery's done and the doctors and nurses are not there and you're at home, that's when the real challenge begins. Your personal willpower, because they have a set diet plan, set progression plan for you from the time you get home till about 4 weeks later, and then on pretty much for life. Starting out with liquids and pureed food, and then soft foods, and then we did they call it the plate method, where it's like you have your protein, your vegetables, and you kind of stick with the low carbs but the good carbs.
Okay, and right here, tell us about this picture. Were you really happy during those times?
I've always been a very positive person. I've always been one to smile and just to be joyful about life. I've never been one to be negative about a lot of things. And I would have to say, looking at that photo now, I was happy, but I wasn't at my happiest. I wasn't at my happiest. I've hidden behind. I'm good at hiding behind a smile, and moments like that, when I look at pictures like that, and back in high school and college and everything, I can honestly say that I was happy for the time being, but I wasn't 100% happy.
Because of the weight, or
not my weight. I would say my weight had a lot to do with it. I've always been I would say you have the quote unquote cliches of the group. You have your skinny friends and you have the chubby girl. I was the chubby girl, the friendly, bubbly chubby girl. And I was like, I've always wanted to break out of that.
So when you go out with a group of friends, how was it? Was it uncomfortable for you?
It wasn't. I've always been able to get past that. I would use my humor and my smile and enjoy life. I never really allowed for people to see me down or anything like that. I would wait till I get home or whatever to cry or to be angry or whatever. And I would never really let it show. I've always felt intimidated a little bit around my skinny friends, but I would never tell them that.
Really?
And, I've never been able to take compliments well. And, people tell me you're cute. Oh, you're cute, you're pretty, you're beautiful. And I never really believed that before.
Why not? Because of your weight?
Because of my weight, for the most part. And it's like, oh, they're just saying that to be nice.
Really?
They're just saying that. They're just saying that to be nice. I was like, they don't do that because I don't see it. I have such a negative self-image about myself, and there were times I looked in the mirror and I was just have the worst thoughts about myself and just had this really negative self-image about my size and my weight, and I would kind of overshadow it and hide it and everything because I didn't want people to see that about
That
me.
side of you.
Mm-hmm.
So after you had the surgery, going through the process, weight started coming off. So what were you thinking?
Wow.
I'm loving this. That's what you said.
It took a while because there were times, especially during I would say the first 6 or so months, and you start getting the compliments in, and people. I would post my photos as updates, and you start getting the compliments in from friends. It's like, oh, you're looking good, you're looking so skinny, and I'm in the back of my mind, it's like, oh my God, skinny and me in the same sentence. Who would have thunk it?
You just pointed that out and poured out.
Who would have thunk it? I was like, me? Skinny? I've never been skinny. I don't remember being skinny. I remember being a healthy kid or a healthy adult. And I was like, me? Skinny? No. But I've learned to take compliments really well. I've learned to take it in stride and be proud of my progress now. I take it and I love it and enjoy it. And it's been so overwhelming for me.
Really?
Especially this past weekend, I was out and about with a few friends, and I saw some friends for the first time in a couple of years that have followed me on the page and seen me for the first time, and they were just saying, wow.
Whoa, really?
So many people that haven't seen me in a while, that have seen the pictures, but they haven't seen me in person. And to get those compliments and to get people saying you're doing so good, you don't realize how much of an inspiration you're being to a whole lot of people that want to do something about their health. It's truly overwhelming. I have to kind of like sit back and be like, wow. Like there was a photo that I posted the other night where I was digging in to an old pair of jeans. This was from a few weeks ago.
This one? Yes. Let's talk about this. Now, tell us about the one on our left.
On the left, on the left is the photo that I took. That was one of the very first mirror photos that I took of myself during the weight loss journey. Late December. And I pants was loose at the time, so I was like,
and what size were these pants?
Wow, it was like a 28-30.
28-30. So the one on the right.
The one on the right, I was at home and I still have some of my old jeans, you know, it's like I'm gonna keep these as a reminder. And I looked at one of those pairs and I was like, you know, I want to try something. I was like, I've lost this much weight. I've seen people do this before. I was like, can it really be done? Could I really fit my whole body into one leg of these jeans? Lo and behold, I kind of pulled it up and everything, and I looked, and I was like, wow.
In one
leg of those jeans that I used to wear, and I was like,
oh my goodness.
Wow. And so my parents came home, and I was like, Mom, Dad, look at this, look at this. I was like, can you fathom I was like, I never fathomed the fact that I would ever be able to do something like that, to stretch my whole body into a pair of jeans. It was amazing.
Amazing. So how do you feel about that? When you see the pictures side by side now, how do you feel about it?
It's a different woman.
It's a different woman. So you know that lady on the left? Do you remember her?
I'm trying not to get a little
That's okay. That's okay.
I remember her. I remember her tears. I remember the times that she cried and been depressed and gone through so much in her life. But the lady that I see on the right now, who I am now, is a fighter. And a real fighter who's fought so long. Oh my goodness.
That's okay. Somebody who's not pretending.
I'm not pretending to be who I am anymore. This is who I've always wanted to be. For my entire life, this is who I've wanted to be. I finally feel what I've always felt on the inside. It's coming out. My smile's a lot brighter nowadays. I don't have to pretend about anything. I'm truly happy and I'm healthy and thankful to God for another chance.
Lord have mercy. Okay.
Making you truly happy. I'm truly happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy.
We got an usher in the house. Her mom is the first lady of the church. She's the usher tonight.
I'm truly happy. Yeah, this felt so good. I feel like, though I'm turning 31 next month, I feel like I'm 18 again. Actually, I feel like I'm turning 21 again.
Really? It's you're making up for that
I'm
time.
I'm making up for all the years that I didn't feel good about myself at all. I'm making up for all that time and making the most of it.
So what's next for you? What's next for you before we let you go today?
Just continue on with the journey. My goal weight is 175, and I definitely want to get there and kind of maintain it and everything. And hopefully from there we'll see how it goes. I just want to live a happy, healthy life and continue to be able to enjoy my friends and my family that have been supportive. Thank you to everybody that's been so supportive of me over the last 13 and a half months. It really does mean a lot. It really does mean a lot.
Okay. And before we let you go, tell us, for those of you who may not be on your Facebook or your Twitter, tell us how we can follow you so they can keep up with your weight loss journey.
Okay. I am on Facebook.com /LadyJ83, and the way I spell Lady J is LAIDEEJAE83. Same name for Instagram and Twitter.
Well, we do appreciate you being so candid, so
Thank you so much for this opportunity. This has been wonderful.
This has been wonderful for me. I tell you, I really appreciate it. As I watched when you mentioned that you were going to go into surgery and everything, and I was like, I bet she would never agree to come on this show, because it's so personal. It's a personal decision, But I'm glad that you chose, because you know what? It's somebody out there who's saying, I feel the same way how she used to feel. Yeah. So you're doing a great thing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right. Well, next week we're going to have a little 16-year-old rapper on next week on the April Ross Show. He's a local rapper, and we're going to have him on. Lil Fly is going to be here. So make sure that you tune in on next Monday, which is also Dr. King Day. So make sure that you don't lay out. Get out and do something on that particular day, next Monday. Until next time, keep us in your prayers. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you, and we do appreciate you watching the April Ross Show.